Okay, welcome back to Stiglr for the Details. My name is Alan Dickerson, otherwise known to some as Stiglr, and this is going to be a second attempt to start the 1 p.m. 1st of July hour at Gettysburg. First, by way of explanation, we had some technical difficulties with the mic assignment in the last segment, so I think I have fixed those issues, and now you should be able to hear me. And actually, I'll be wondering whether or not my voice will be a little bit too loud, whereas before it was almost unintelligible. Um, anyway, I will go back and recap um, what you missed in the last episode, and that isn't much. But anyway, I'll start by saying that we are here in the 1 p.m. turn on the 1st of July, and we have the Confederates starting to get more reinforcements here on either side of Oak Hill. And we also have Pender's division here starting to uh, Im- imperil the Union left with a smaller response from the Union also forming over here. We have elements of Barlow's division here and more elements, two more divisions of Howard's Corps, namely Schurz and von Steinwehr, coming up the Tawnytown Road. And I will show you what I've done for um, initiative and efficiency. Union 1 initiative, and we drew for efficiency, and we found that Reynolds Corps has 3 activations, Buford's Cavalry have 3 activations, and Howard's Corps have 4 activations. For the Confederates, we had Ewell's Corps drawing only 1. A.P. Hill drew 3. So with that 1, all of these units in brown for the Confederates and the reinforcements that come on will only have 1 activation the entire turn. There's 1 little battalion of rebel cavalry that come on here, but they only have 1 activation to use during the entire turn. So when I discovered the audio issue and decided to cut the last episode short, I was right in the middle of making decisions as to what orders to give to both sides. We started over here with Pender Division's flanking action, and all of those units were taken out of march except for the lead brigade under Perrin, who is out of excuse me, out of Pender's range by just a little bit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, he's out of command there. We decided that this artillery brigade here is going to be also attached to Heath along with this one for Pegram, and they are now too far away from Heath to be in command. They are out. Um, this brigade is going to be out of command. Iverson is going to be out of command because the division leader is over here, Rhodes. So they're going to be out, but of course they will get one fewer than one, you always have a minimum of one activation per turn, so they're actually not going to be penalized anymore for being out of command. And we also have Heath, who's in command. For the Union, we have Robinson's division, which is all in command, I believe. Let me see. Actually, they are all not in command. He only has, oh, a radius of 4, but then 1, 2, yes, he can make it along the road using the leader movement rate. So they are in command. They are in command, and they are going to get the bonus 4th activation that Reynolds can add with that +1 rating. The rest have 3 over here, except for the Iron Brigade here under Meredith, and they are out of command of the division leader here, Doubleday. So they will have 1 fewer than 3, which will be 2. Also, the artillery battery is out of command as well. Buford's cavalry, they have 3. They are, I think they're in command. He has a range of 7, and using these roads, he can get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, most of them are going to be in command. Here we have this division. They are going to drop out of march orders. By themselves because they are in command. Osborne will also, actually, is Osborne in command? His rating or his range is 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's going to be a close fit. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if leaders are affected by steep slopes. Yeah, they are. +2. So he's going to be out of command. He's going to have to change under his own volition. For now, they're still in march. 11th Corps Artillery. I'm wondering, though, well, they can't be reassigned if they're out of command because they won't get the orders. So this division will drop out of march orders, and the rest, all of the trailing units, will stay in march. And now I believe we are set up to go. And let's see, looks like we have one person who is watching, but I don't see them in the list of people, so who knows? Oh, I guess it's just me. All right. So we decided, the Union decided that Robinson's division would lead off the action. And so they activate, and let's see here. Oh, also, let's see. For the Union, Baxter is going to drop out of March. Meredith, or no, Robinson will drop out of March. So effectively, the entire 1st Division and the 2nd Division are out of march. All right. So I had some trouble keeping all of these Union First Corps divisions straight last turn, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better and make sure that I understand what I'm working with here. These Union divisions have 2 brigades. Robinson is the 2nd Division of First Corps, so his brigades are Baxter here and Paul here. So that's what I'm working with. All right, let us start first with Paul, and I think they will start to take up a spot here on the high ground near these trees. So they will move over the stream, which adds 1 to their movement. So this will be, first of all, let's get them facing a Bertus rather than a hex side. See, they've now dropped out of march. They won't need the extended columns. No. Okay. So let's start with this unit. He's already across the stream. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll move into the woods there for 6. 1 across the stream, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, orchards don't cost extra. 3, 4, grab a few apples on the way through. 5, 6. Then this unit, 1, 2, use the road to get over the stream. 3, 4, 5, 6. Likewise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see, the artillery is going to do an about face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll bring up the rear. And then the leader will stay on the road. He's going to probably end up a little bit out of command, or maybe not. Let's put him there for now. And that brigade, whoops, I should have marked him as not being in March anymore. And that brigade is finished. Then we'll move over here to Baxter. And maybe a good spot for them might be, well, let's maybe have them move around Herbst's forest here, maybe to end up somewhere in front or possibly in the woods, depending on how the battle goes. But if they're single file along here, they can join this battle if they need to. So let's start with this unit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the stream, and 6. This unit will go, oh, and since they all dropped out of march, you should be facing vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 into the woods. This unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go 6 to the woods and up the hill. Let me also zoom in and make sure that there wasn't a escarpment along that face. No, there was not. Final unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's as far as you can go. We'll move Baxter. Let's check where our division leader is back here. All right, so we'll move him there. And Robinson, in an attempt to keep both of these brigades in range, but also not stray too far from Reynolds, the corps commander, he would probably do well to join Baxter and then later get to a more central position by the end of the turn. So 1, 2, 3, and leaders have 10 movement points to use each activation. 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just have him plop in there. And that's going to do it for Robinson. So we will move the chit out and put it under Robinson there. Then we draw our first random chit for the turn, and we get Pender for the Confederates. Check to see if there's any. Thank you, Richard. I just saw your comment that the audio is perfect, and yes, it was caused by actually not having my headphone plugged in momentarily, so the audio is being picked up by my laptop, which was a couple of feet away and isn't a very good bit of kit anyway, so that explains what was going on there. All right, got Pender over here forming a flanking action over here, so they're going to actually try and forge along the road as best they can. Unfortunately, Perrin's brigade here through here is still in march and out of command, and they are kind of plugging the road. We also have these swampy areas here that are going to make this a challenge for everyone to get around. So we're going to start the advance overland from the road here, and we're going to start not with Pogue, but with Thomas's brigade. And here we have, oh, they're actually overstacked. They should be back there. All right, so what we're going to do is have these guys make a free facing change and start overland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These skinny little runs do not affect movement. There's 6, and then finally Actually, start him there. 1, and finish facing. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have the brigadier here. And I moved him closer to the road because I figure that the division commander will probably want to stay nearest the road of anyone, because that helps with the command radii, tracing command. All right, then moving on, we have Jim Lane's brigade. And let's have a look at what this bog does. Marshes cost 2 for infantry. Their only other route would be through the woods, which also costs 2. All right, we'll start here. 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5. Whoa, a bit of a mistake there. I apologize. You should be here and facing that way. 2 for the woods, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he could have been facing as he went. 1, 3 with woods, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 4, 5. Yet 6. Little echelon going here. Finally, this unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Lane joins his brigade there. Then moving back here, we have Scales' brigade, which maybe could take up a central position here. We'll start with this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Movement of the swamp, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have him do a bit of a pirouette. That'll cost him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they shake out a nice looking line. Commander here. Then we have a whole bunch of artillery and then Pender. So let's figure out where we want the artillery to deploy, if anywhere. With these woods here, they're probably going to want to deploy, if they can make it, here on Hers Ridge, if anywhere. So they're going to stay on the road and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We'll move in behind them there. Now, the reason that this artillery seems to be able to pack so many units into one hex is because these are sections of batteries. So they are actually conforming to the rule that 2 batteries can stack in one hex. So we have, I believe that is, let me zoom in so I can read that better. Still can't really read it. Let's say Humphreys. I can barely read it. But the first battery has 2 counters. The second battery has 3. And then moving back here, we have 2 batteries of 2 units each. So again, those are still only 2 batteries per each of those 2 hexes. Okay, so now Pender wants to keep everybody in command, but he doesn't want to stray too far from AP Hill. So best place for him would probably be right here on the flank, where he can send a courier there to converse with AP Hill if he needs to. And so now Pender is done with his activation. Switch that to show that they are no longer marked as moved. And then we will get the Confederate order of battle card out and move Pender's activation there. And we'll draw the next one out of the hat, and it is Wadsworth, 1st Division of the Union 1st Corps. And Wadsworth is here with the artillery. And let's keep this straight. He has Cutler's Brigade here. They are the Red Brigade here. No, this is actually, yeah, this is 1st Division of the 1st Corps, but these over here are 3rd Division. Okay, so let's keep this straight. So Wadsworth's here. We have Cutler's Brigade here, not Stone's Brigade. That's a part of the 3rd Division. And then we have up here, this is also 1st Brigade under Meredith, and they are out of command. So they will have to consider maybe whether this is the activation that they sit out. And as a reminder, the entire Corps drew 3 activations this turn. So Meredith will only be able to make use of 2. Now, we do have some decisions to make, because we're starting to see the handwriting on the wall with all these forces. coming in on either side of Oak Hill. And of course, the Union player doesn't know that they only have one activation to use this turn. So if they assume that maybe they're going to have 2 or 3, they could see this force kind of getting in here and cutting off this road. So now the Iron Brigade have to decide, well, do we want to actually stand and possibly get surrounded? We might be able to fight our way out, or do we start to give ground and maybe start to head out in this direction to uh, block off access to the town of Gettysburg? Given that they've had really good luck with Heath and are not really seeing any quality troops in front of them yet, they might want to stay there. But again, hard choices, hard choices. Okay, let's assume that they are a bit fearful of being cut off and they should start retreating. So to do that, what does that mean for Cutler's brigade, which is in good position here astride the road? And they just sent this brigade here backwards with losses. Trying to find the brigadier. Pettigrew, here he is. Yep. They've slapped him around a little bit, caused a little bit of fatigue. So they're probably thinking they should probably just stay there. Meredith. Let's find out. He's the yellow brigade. So this is a pretty large brigade here. Maybe they should retreat here onto Oak Hill or should they actually commit to blocking off Gettysburg, or should they let Buford's cavalry possibly do that? Well, if there's going to be a pitched battle, let's just take a moderate approach and make for this spur of Oak Hill and make for this ridge. We have high ground, the artillery is already there, and we can retreat further if necessary if these forces really start to come in behind us. So this unit will change facing by movement. One, I will swing this around that way and through all clear hexes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy. They can't swing around because then they're going to get fouled up with the artillery there. Let's do it this way. Let's say that they retract their extended line marker at the beginning. That costs 1. Then they do the facing. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Say this unit can about face for 1 movement point, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another multi-vertex facing change for 6. This unit under Meredith here will make a about face for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meredith will get a central position against the road. This unit will do an about face for 1, 3, go to the woods, 4, 5, 6. This unit will do an about face for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This unit will get rid of the refused marker. That's 1. 2 for the pirouette. 3, 4, 5, 6. There's that brigade. Cutler will pretty much stay where he is. Or should he actually? There's probably no reason to fire at those units. They're in a good position, so they will actually stand pat. And I will place a marker here just to mark that in case I want to use well, no. There we go. All right. Wadsworth and his artillery. Now, the artillery is on this ridge and might want to fire at these batteries here and shake them up, or they could take a pot shot. Well, they can't fire at Heath because he's alone. Anybody else on high ground? Let's see. It would just be the artillery there. Let's get a sense of this. We've got this little spur here with our troops on it, which would shield this unit. Might be able to get a shot at Davis's units. Let's hide that again. Yes, we would. All right, so the artillery is going to take some shots here. Well, this unit here is going to be problematic because it is within 2 hexes of these units, and it is lower, so they don't block line of sight, but if I roll poorly, they will be forced to make a morale check. Is it worth it? These are pretty poor units. Yes, I think we're going to take the shot here. Okay, so we have Napoleon guns, and let's bring this in here. Go to our range attenuations, and we have here Napoleon guns. Let's get the range. That's at a range of 6. Napoleon guns 5 through 7 are a -1. So we have 6 guns firing with a -1, but they are at a higher elevation, so they get a plunging fire bonus, which makes it a 0, and the size of this unit is huge, 13, so we get a +1 large target bonus. So our net modifier is +1 for the Napoleons, and they will take that shot. Moving over here to the artillery bombardment. We're on the 6 gun table, and we will add 1 to the die roll, which is a 3. That becomes a 4, and that is a lowercase d. This unit has a 4 cohesion and rolls a 9, so they are disordered. You can see with the little yellow diamond there, they are disordered, and look at that. Their cohesion is now 1. And so let's see if we have line of sight for the other battery to take advantage of that. Let's hide the units and see that the line of sight does not go through or clip this hex here. So they will also take that shot. They have 12 guns of what types? Napoleons and 3-inch rifles, also at a range of 6. Let's see what we get. On the range attenuation tables, I think the 3-inch rifles have a 0 modifier at ranges 5 to 7, whereas the Napoleons have a -1. Oh, no, they don't. They have a 0. Okay. That would not have affected the previous shot. So they all have a 0 modifier at ranges 5 through 7. They have a +1 plunging fire bonus and a +1 large target bonus. So this shot will be with 12 guns +2. So now we're on the 9 through 12 table and a +2. We'll roll the dice. We'll get a 6. That turns into an 8. 9 to 12 and 8 is a capital D, which is an automatic disorder. That will be a second disorder for this unit. So this means that it's going to take a casualty for the second disorder. And whoops, let's see, get a strength point marker. 12. Increase. And they will have to retreat 1 or 2 hexes farther away from the fire. And so they'll retreat there. And let's see. Automatic disorder. Yep, an automatic disorder means ordinarily they would have to check. They don't have to check. So there we are. Casualty and a retreat. And that's it for those guns. And that's it for that division. So we move Wadsworth's activation. And we pick the next activation, and it's Wadsworth again. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, made one mistake. This unit is part of a different division. He would not have moved with them. He was on the flank there. All right. So Wadsworth knows this is his second and final activation. So wherever he ends up is where he will end the turn. They can't really get too much further into a blocking position, but they can form up pretty strong along the hill here, knowing that with this escarpment here, they're not going to get pressed from behind. So maybe they should make for this area. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. This unit. Another about face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meredith will pop onto the road there. That brigade is done. That's First Corps Artillery attached to Meredith. So let's move them. They don't know if the rebels can't make it down that road, so they would not stay there. Okay. Number up. 1, 2, 3 on the road. 4, 5. Remember artillery. Whoops. Artillery pay 2 movement points for a clear hex. 6, 7. And just as a precautionary measure, turn around so in case they need to unlimber and defend themselves, they'll be in position to do so. Wainwright will move with them. Okay, there's 2. And what about Wadsworth himself? Where is he again? Wadsworth is here. He's got a brigade fighting in front and a brigade here in retreat. Where does Wadsworth want to go? His radius is 5. No, he's going to stay here. Meredith is well able to fend for himself. Again, Cutler's brigade doesn't need to do anything. Trying to find a good spot for Wadsworth. What if he were here? In this hex, that would put Meredith in command for at least for the start of next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still be out of command. How about if you were in this hex? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not really a good place to put him to keep everybody in command. But what is most important is that Cutler stay supported, so he's just going to stay where he is. And the artillery. Oh my goodness. I did not notice that. They should not have been able to fire last turn because they are disordered. I don't remember that they were disordered. I think I flipped them over in error. They haven't taken any fire. There's no reason for them to be disordered. Okay, so they are going to now shell Davis's other unit. And now at a range of 5, Napoleons have a 0 modifier, I believe. Napoleons range 5 through 7 is 0. +1 for plunging fire. +1 for large target, which is 8 or greater. So +2 with 6 guns. Roll a 2, that becomes a 4. 6 guns with a 4 is a lowercase d. So that is a morale check. Davis, being the brigadier, adds his star to help out. His cohesion is 7, so only on a 9 will he fail, which he does not. Then moving over here. Oh. It's another mistake that I made last turn. They have started to run out of ammunition and have a -2 modifier. So they could either accept the -2 to, let's see how that would have affected that shot they took. It ended up being an 8. If they had made it a 6, would have been a D +2. And with their cohesion being a -1, they still could have failed it. Yes, they would have. Okay. This time, however, I think these batteries are going to make a ammo replenishment instead of firing. We'll do it that way. Okay. 20 minutes late, Alex, but thank you for the shout out. I'll see if I can move on and make fewer mistakes. I've made a couple just recently, so got to stay on your toes with this system. Okay. Now we're done with this division. So Wadsworth takes a second consecutive activation, and then we go back to our hat and we pull out Robinson this time. Robinson is here and here. This is their second activation of the turn. And Robinson can probably give Davis a rather nasty shock right now by coming up on his flank and trying to get into these woods here. So question is, should he change his orders to attack? Well, with this stream being in the way, even if he did change his orders, he would not be in a position to get close enough to assault them for this activation. So they're not going to try and change orders. They're not going to try to coordinate. They're just going to move brigades one at a time. So we will start with Baxter's brigade, and we will just loom up, fire a warning shot. So 1, 2, that's as close as they can get because being in advance orders, they cannot move adjacent to Davis's unit here. So they'll stop there. We'll have this unit in support. 1 for the stream, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start to show development here. This unit will pop over here. The brigadier will go there. What kind of hex is that he's in? That's a wooded hex. This unit, 2 for the woods, 2 to cross the stream and get to that hex. That's 4. 5, 6. Excuse me. Finally, this unit lag behind a bit. 1, 2, 3, 5. Oh, not too bad. Robinson is now left to his own devices, and now we'll move down to Paul, who's now in a real good position to be able to block the road. The question now being, 1, should they go forward of this woods, or maybe just stand on this wooded hillside and block the road, and then can the Confederates go around them on this road, or will they even try? Well, if they do that, then they're really going to be independent. So they're going to take up position here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do this. I'll do this. 1, 2, 4. The artillery is still pretty useless right here. Guess the best spot might be just on the hub of this high ground, but they're really not going to be able to do anything because they can't see over this ridge. But that's probably still the best spot for them. Now the brigadier is going to want, his radius is 4 only. His units are kind of deep into the hills. If he is there, he'll probably be able to stay in command. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all right that the artillery stays out of command. Now, finally, Robinson wants to stay somewhere near Reynolds, but also be able to command both of his brigades. So he wants to be as central to them as possible without getting too far from Reynolds. His best spot is probably there. Let's see, his radius is 5. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna get in this little switch here. Then his radius is 6. 1, 2. Do streams cost liters? Yes, they do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll have to stay here. And Paul is going to be out of command again. 5. 1, 2, 3. No, 5. He'll be in command. Good. All right. That division is done. We'll remove that. We'll move Robinson to the org chart to show that was his second activation. And now we go back to the hat. And it's Heath, who has had nothing but bad luck so far. Let's see what we got. Heath has Davis's brigade with 2 disordered units with also very poor cohesion. He's going to have to try and do some rallies. He's also got these units there on its flank, so he can't really stay there. So he'll probably want to move. Pettigrew is under attack orders, but he's got 2 disordered units and 1 in good order. So he probably needs to regroup a little bit too before he takes up the assault. So this unit is already in the face of the enemy. Man, not too many good options. Then we have this brigade here, which is in good shape maybe to make a frontal attack, but the troop quality is really poor. They have 4 cohesions, and they would be assaulting Union units with 7 cohesion. So the prospects for that attack are not real good. They've got Archer's brigade, which slightly better quality and 1 good quality unit. They could maybe attempt to move into the flank. However, they are out of command of Heath and have 1 fewer activation to use this turn. And a quick check of the efficiency shows that, let's see here, Heath. That's AP Hill's Corps. He has a 3, so they only have 2 to use this turn. They will be getting support from these guys, but not a lot because we know that they only have 1 activation. Okay. Now here is where, when you're playing an opposed game, where neither side knows what the activation and AM status is of another unit, here's where you can make use of a feint. And I'm going to actually do this here. The Union doesn't know that Heath has 3 activations, they do know that they will have 1 fewer, but they don't know that they don't have more activations to use. So what they're going to do is they're going to use one of their activations to move out onto this flank and set up for an attack if they get the opportunity. And even if they can't pull it off this turn, it would make the Union worry about where to place this brigade and whether or not they should start to retreat. So that's the mindset I'm going to use here. Um, so let's start with this brigade over here, Archer, and they are still in advance orders. So they're going to move 1, change facing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and change facing again. And this unit will move 1, 2, 3, 5 there. And then this unit will move 1, 2, 3, 4. See, this unit is collapsed and kind of hors de combat. This unit is going to just straggle a little bit and try and stay out of the way. He only has 5 movement points, so 1, 2, 3. He'll stay behind that ridge there. Then Brigadier will move there. Or actually, yeah, they'll move there. I'm moving this unit here because at some point Archer might try to rally him. He doesn't want to get too far away, but he also doesn't really want to get into the fight at this point. Same with this collapsed unit. We'll just hide them behind this escarpment here. Let me hide that. You can see this steep hillside. So there's not likely to see any surprises coming there. That brigade is done. Now we've got Broken Bro, who's on attack footing. This is really, this is not a good position to be in because these troops are probably not going to break this line. Unfortunately, they're about the only thing that's facing them. So if not now, when, right? I'm just not seeing a good alternative for them. They're also outnumbered. Man, I cannot think of a good thing to do with them besides maneuvering for position. And right now, there's no position to maneuver for. So it's either straight ahead or nothing. I think for right now, it's going to be nothing. I actually should have had them drop out of attack orders, but since I've moved them, they don't have the chance to try to change it now. Let's move down to Pettigrew. What are we going to do here? All right, we've got this unit here, which is still very large, but has taken 5 casualties so far, is disordered, so he could not move adjacent to renew the attack even if he wanted to. The unit that is adjacent could actually try to renew the attack even though he's disordered. The unit next to him is 8 strong. He's 11 strong. It's only even odds, but he could force a flank attack. If this unit were to move in adjacent and pin that unit, then he could make a free facing change even though he's adjacent to Cutler's unit and make a flank assault. But it would be really be risky because the unit is already disordered. Hmm. But again, the question is, if not now, when? Okay, I'm going to split the better part of caution. I'm going to move Heath along the road here and attempt to rally that unit with a -2 modifier for the 2 division commanders' stars. He gets a 4, and so he is successful at rallying, but he is also spent for the turn. So now we have 2 good order units, and we're going to we're going to press this assault. So we're going to move this unit here adjacent, and are we going to fire? Hmm. Well, I won't get a charge bonus because this unit here started adjacent and will not be able to move to contact. So yes, we're going to exchange fire. So this unit here, 6 North Carolina, is going to fire at the 189th Pennsylvania. Boy, it's a pretty large number for the regiment. So 6 North Carolina will fire at this unit and will draw return fire from that unit, and that'll be the end of it. Okay, so we'll start with the initiating fire, which is 8 strength point of rifles. That's +1 at range. They moved up, so they don't get a prep fire bonus because they moved. So that's it. It's 8 strength points with a total modifier of 1. And we are on the small arms table on this column here, 6 to 8. We roll the dice. We get a 6, which becomes a 7, which is a automatic disorder, capital D. So this unit, after it returns fire, will be automatically disordered. It returns fire with 8 strength points of rifles, +1 for the range, +1 because prep fire, they exchange fire simultaneously, so they are not considered disordered right now. So they get the prep fire bonus, and that makes it a +2. So it's the exact same shot. We roll the die. We only get a 1, which becomes a 3, and that's a lowercase d or a straight cohesion check against this unit's 7. but we roll a 9, so he does not pass his morale check, and he is disordered. Okay, then Pettigrew's unit can use a free-facing change to be able to fire. Let me also remove the shock marker from Pettigrew because he has not shocked this turn. And he will fire into the flank of this unit, which cannot return fire. One, because the firing unit is on his flank, and two, because you cannot fire out of a flank. However, these this unit of Cutlers, which is adjacent to the unit being targeted, can fire in support. So this unit will fire at this unit and then draw return fire from this unit. Okay, we'll start with this unit first. So we have 11 strength points. You can only fire a maximum of 7 strength points out of a single hex. So 7 strength points of rifles, +1 for rifle type, -1 for being disordered. No prep fire bonus for the same reason, he's disordered. So it is just 7 straight up. But he rolls a 9. And on the 6 to 8 table, a 9 is a 1 and an automatic disorder. So we get a strength point loss and an automatic retreat of 1 or 2. Now let's zoom in a little bit here and see what his retreat options are. Looks like he'll be able to go through the grove and can hang on a second. Let me move that back and let me hide the unit so I can see what I'm doing here. Yes, you can go through the grove and end up stacked with Doubleday. Oh, and also he takes 2 strength point losses because he was already disordered, and the result was a 1 and an automatic disorder. So that's actually 2 second disorders, each of which cause a strength point loss and a retreat of 1 or 2 hexes. So from here, he could have taken 2 1-hex retreats to end up under Doubleday. This unit, because he began adjacent to the targeted unit and forced him to retreat, has the option of advancing into that hex. But before we decide what he's going to do, let's see what the return fire from Cutler's unit will do. He has 7 strength points of rifles, +1 for rifles at range, and +1 for prep fire. So we have the exact same shot. Oh, he rolls a 9, which becomes an 11. Wow, we're really cranking up the bloodshed here, and we have a 2 and a disorder, and that's really going to hurt. This unit is going to take 2 losses, down to 9, and then a third because of the automatic disorder. And he's got to retreat 2 hexes. And it definitely has to be 2 because he can't retreat through this hex because it's in the fire zone of this unit. He has to retreat through one of these units here. And he will choose to retreat through this unit for 2 hexes, ending up here. Pettigrew goes along with him. And then this unit has to make a morale check because of the unit that just forced its way through. However, this unit has a cohesion of 8 now that it's been rallied, and with Heath there, um, reducing the die roll by 2, there's no way it will fail that check. So that is why I sent the retreat through Heath, because there's no chance that it would start anything like a stampede. Seeing as all those casualties were sustained, we have to make a check to see if Pettigrew caught a bullet. Now, I'm pretty sure that each event that causes casualties is rolled for once, not one for every strength point loss. So we only roll for Pettigrew once, and we roll a 4. He was not hit. That unit's now down to 8 strength points, so it's not ready to break yet. And let's see. So what the result of this has been is that now Pettigrew does not have any units that are adjacent to be able to shock. So they forced the unit back, but they've got another full brigade still in front of them, and they are now mostly disordered, but with their best unit and the division commander kind of holding the fort for them in front. So Heath's bad luck continues, and now we'll go to Davis's brigade, which they're in a shambles because their units are so crappy. They've got the 2 disordered units have cohesions of 1. They are no more than just armed mobs. The unit that Davis is with is in good order and has good cohesion, so we're going to use it kind of as a blocking unit and I guess try and do a rally. So Davis is going to pick a unit to try and rally. Oh boy. Well, the larger unit probably seems like the bigger choice or the better choice. So we'll move them there. We will remove the shock and have them try to rally. So Davis reduces the die roll by 1. So on a 0, 1, or 2, the unit will rally. Oh, it worked. So not everything is going against the Confederates. This unit, I don't even know if it should try, but well, he'll try and rally himself. Rolls an 8, which is well above double their cohesion. So in addition to failing to rally, 50 guys decide, I'm going back for second helpings of breakfast. They lose a strength point to stragglers. This unit here is going to use retreat movement here. And here is his option. He's got to make a UDD, adding 1 to the die roll because the second hex there would cost him 2 to enter, which is 1 more than a hex that would not cause a UDD during retreat movement. He makes his cohesion roll and There we are. Davis is stopped there. And now, again, we're faced with what to do with Broken Bro. I was hoping that maybe something better would come of Pettigrew's assault here that would enable them to charge forward and just add more heat. But that didn't happen. So, oh boy, this is just not good. Just not good. The most they can do is maybe make for this corner. It's not quite the flank, but it would support them and possibly make an assault there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to move up 1, move up 2, and they're not going to fire. This unit is going to change facing, move 1, 2, change facing 3. Brigadier is going to go there to lend his support to the attack. And we will mark that as a infantry charge as all the involved units moved to contact. Then over here, this unit with a 2 cohesion will try to rally itself. Hope for a low die roll. Nope, it's an 8. And they decrease to 2. That also collapses the unit. Don't have a clone marker on the collapse. We'll do that. He has to make a stand or route UDD, which he routes. Boy. They were told to go in and they just weren't having it. So we move this unit. Show you what I did. Moved him here to the routed units box for Heath's division, where he will stay until nightfall when they can try to repair the unit. Okay, one more unit. Um, he will move 1, 2, and he will stay there to try and fend off any kind of retribution from the rest of the brigade. Okay, so they are going to declare a shock against this unit. So we will find a shock marker and place it there. And now the Union has to decide whether to stand and face the assault with 7 strength points to 10 incoming against poor quality troops, or whether they should make use of a free retreat to kind of echelon the line, but to take no chance that they'll be pushed back. The Union have got to figure that they can hold off these rabble that are charging them. So they're going to stand. So we'll get rid of this marker and make a cohesion check with a 7 cohesion. There's nothing going on here that would add any kind of modifiers, such as units on the flank, units in disorder, anything like that. So we make a straight up cohesion check and we get a 7. We just pass. After that, this unit gets defensive fire. So they get to fire at the onrushing rebels. 7 strength points of rifles, +1 for rifles at range, +1 for um, prepared fire. So it's that 7 column +2. We roll a 7, that turns into a 9. And that's a 1 and automatic disorder. Let's check for Broken Bro. He is not hit. So this unit now has 4 strength points. And is disordered automatically. And now we go to the final or the 6th phase of the shock, which is the actual resolution of the shock. So we have now 9 strength points against 7, so that's even odds. And that results in 0 modifier. We have the Union is not disordered, but the Confederates are. So a -1 for that. And then we have the infantry charge, which adds a +1. So now we're back to 0 again. Let's see. Is that crossing a stream? No. There's no terrain bonus or penalty. There's no positional bonus because they're coming in head on. So we have a 0 modifier and we roll and we get a 5. And the rebels kind of luck out because on the shock table, a 5 result is defender retreats. Defending unit retreats 1 hex and is disordered. So that's a successful assault. And they will back up here and flip. We will remove the charge, and now they get, or they must, advance into the hex that they've been fighting for. They can get a free facing change if they want it, but they decide no, they're going to share a flank with that because they also know the Union have some units that might even move up on their flank, so they're going to stay there. Now we do post-shock cohesion, which disorders this unit and causes this unit to take 1 more casualty because they are already disordered. So they lose an additional strength point to that. And that is a check again for Broken Bro, 5, so he is not hit. And that's the end of the shock. And that's also, whoops. Oh no, these units, these artillery units, which are trying to get attached to Heath's division, are still in march, and they can't even attempt to change their orders until the march chit comes out of the hat. So the division is finished for this activation. So we take the chit and move it into Heath's activation used spot on the order of battle chart, and we pull the next activation, and it is Pender. This will be Pender's second activation. Let's move down here, see where we are, and we're still in good shape here. We're not close enough for any combat. Now we've got to think about, does Pender come up here and help Heath out? The artillery has no support. The Union is in a strong position that is getting stronger all the time. So maybe they should, instead of maybe attacking this tree line here, they should try to spread their frontage to help out Heath. That seems like the best thing to do. So they will send Thomas's brigade here, then move Scales in around in here, then Jim Lane's brigade further here, and then once Perrin gets out of March, they will occupy as far right as the division can go. Okay. Let me check and see if I have any messages. I don't see anything. Thanks for the positive comments. I'm glad that you're getting something out of this. All right, let's move Thomas's brigade first. They're still under advance order, so 1, 2, 3, 5 through the woods, 6. And this unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. This unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we want to put Thomas in a position where the woods are not going to factor into whether units are in or out of command. And so he will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, leaders have 10 movement points to use per activation. Also, Thomas has a command radius of 4 leader movement points to put units in command. However, there is also an adjacency rule that states that any unit that is adjacent to a brigade mate that is in command will be in command. So, although this appears that the woods are going to stop this unit from being in command from where Thomas is, all he has to do is trace 2, 4 through the woods to this unit. Because these are adjacent, they will stay in command along with it. So that's why I put him there. I could have put him here too, and then 2, 4. This unit would still be in command, this unit under him. But I'm wanting to keep him over here because I'm thinking, I'm wondering where Pender's going to end up. Pender's going to have to be somewhere up here so that he can stay closer to AP Hill. So I'll leave Thomas there. Then Scales Brigade will activate next. They're here. So let's try and move them into this area as far as they can get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't make it into the woods. 2 for the marsh. 3, 4, 5, 6. Do a little advance by column here. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, I could be stacking because they can really cram 15 strength points into a hex. But right now, with all this open country, lines and compact brigades are kind of the order of the day right now. We'll move Scales there. Then we have Jimmy Lane over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can get over Hers Ridge. That's good. 1, 3, 4, facing 5, 6. And facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Refacing change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And we'll move Lane onto the road there. Perrin's brigade is still in march, and so they can't participate. The artillery will just move along the road and trail, for all intents and purposes, becoming a part of the march column. Now let's figure out where to put Pender. His radius is 6 movement points. 6 scales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay. Pender still has 2 more activations to use. Brother. Pender will move here, I believe. Believe that's close enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not quite close enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drat. Well, Pender will be there. It'll be close enough to AP Hill to be in command for the division. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, Perrin's not going to be in, not even going to be there. Let's see if Jim Lane isn't again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's the best spot for him right there. All right. Pender Division has moved. And let's also keep in mind that at the end of the turn, AP Hill can change his position. Not sure where he'll go. He doesn't want to get too close to the front because, frankly, Heath is not doing much here. He doesn't want to imperil himself. But we're starting to get a better attack position further south of the Chambersburg Pike. So AP Hill might actually start to move his focus down this way and maybe get along this road here to help keep people in command. So, okay. Yeah, Pender's still in a good position. Okay. So that's it for Pender's activation. So we will move his AM into the appropriate spot on the order of battle card. That's his second activation. Now we'll draw the next one. And it's Heath again. And for Heath, well, this will be his second activation. Checking the order of battle card, and there's only one AM on it. So Heath activates again for a second activation, and what are we going to do? So Davis's brigade is back in better shape. Pettigrew is back in bad shape again with two disordered units and one in good order. So this would probably be a good place for Pettigrew to maybe try to rally the troops and maybe for Davis to start to move farther north here to support Brokenborough. Yeah. Okay. What are we going to do? Both of these units have 8 strength points left, and both of them have 5 cohesion. So where do we want to move Heath? We don't. Well, Heath can move off the road. He'll have another chance to get back to it. Okay. Pettigrew will move there and try to rally that unit. -1 on the die roll. He didn't even need that. He rallies. There we go. He rallies. Heath will move here and use his 2 stars to influence this rally attempt, -2. And there it made all the difference. You see, I rolled a 6, which normally would be a rally attempt, but Heath lowers the die roll by 2, so this unit is successful in rallying. Okay. So there's Pettigrew, kind of reforming in the face of the enemy. And because they're not adjacent, the enemy really has no effect at all. They can't fire, they can't do anything. There's no artillery in range, anything either. So now we have Davis, and we basically have one good unit, and the rest is just, this is awful. Okay, let's move the high quality unit kind of in the lead here. 1, 2, 3. And remember, because Davis is under attack orders, all movement allowances are halves, so half of 6 is 3, and that's why he only moved 3. This unit is still in good order, but just doesn't have very good cohesion at all. So let's see, where's he going to go? 1, 2, 3. At least try to form a decent line. Brigadier jumps in there, and this unit here, I don't know, should he even try to rally himself? No, he's just going to move along with his brigade and maybe not get into any more trouble. Save his rally for a later time. That brigade is done. Okay, now we have Broken Bro, who now, by dint of getting another activation before the Union has activated this division even one time, they can press their attack. Even though they have disordered units, they can still attempt to launch a shock attack because the requirement for shock is that you begin the shock phase adjacent. So if they don't fire and draw return fire, which could force them to retreat, they'll be able to um, launch a shock. However, they only have 8 strength points, and this unit has 7. They might actually get a chance to put in a shock. This unit here only has 4 strength points, and to attack twice its number of better troops probably wouldn't be a great idea. However, what they could do is move in behind this, move in and stack with these units. Their combined 8 and 4 would be 12. That's within stacking limits and would give them 1.5 to 1 odds. Oh boy. The only bad thing though is if this unit were to move in and stack here, once they got into the hex, their movement into that hex would allow this unit to, at risk of UDD, change its facing and harry the attacking unit. And the Union would probably do that because there's nothing in their face now. So keep in mind that this unit is facing that way with their flank next to this unit. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So units that share a flank do not pit each other. What to do? Another thing this unit could do is just exchange fire at range 2, the same +1 modifier for rifles, and hope to get lucky and disorder this unit, and that would complicate his choices. But no, what they're going to do is they're going to pitch in here. 1, 2, 3. They enter that hex. They're at the bottom of the stack. This unit sees that happening and decides to make a facing change. They have to risk UDD. They roll a 4 and pass. Now, if this unit that is behind the other units, if they decide to fire, they would draw this unit's return fire, so they're not going to do that. They're not going to fire. Uh, that's all for that brigade, and they're going to try and launch a shock here. It's not an infantry charge because 2 of the 3 units were already there. So they get an infantry charge is basically a momentum bonus, and they have no momentum because the 2 units in front are already there. So they need only target this unit because this unit, even though they're adjacent to it, is not in their frontal hex, and so they do not have to target this unit as well. There will be a penalty for them basically running through their fire zone to make the assault. If the shock goes all the way through to completion, there will be a -1 for crossing this unit. But for the purposes of this shock, they are targeting only this unit. There we go. Now, the first thing is the Union has to decide whether to retreat before shock or stand and fight. Because this unit is already disordered, they don't get the option that they had last activation to simply retreat 1 hex, and because they're in good order, they can do that for free. Because they're disordered, they're going to have to make a UDD, whether they stand, in which case they would make it with a +1 because they are disordered, or if they elect to retreat before shock, they retreat and then make a unmodified UDD. Their cohesion now is 5, which is a little bit shaky, but certainly is a lot better than Broken Bro, where they've got the units in front have a cohesion of 2. So knowing that those troops are of such low quality, they will probably be able to use their defensive fire to drive most of them, if not all of them, back and out of the shock. So that's why the Union will decide to stand. So because they are disordered, they have a +1 to the die roll. So they make that die roll and they roll a 1 and they pass. Wow. So because they pass, they now get defensive fire. So they have 7 strength points of rifles, that's +1. They are disordered, so that's a -1. And they cannot use a prepared fire bonus because they are disordered. So it is 7 strength points and no modifiers at all. And they roll a 0. Ooh. Let's see if there's any effect at all for a 0. 0 on the 7 table is a D-2. That becomes a D-3 because of the Brigadier's presence. So we roll 7 minus 3 is 4, and it's still too much. So they cause a second disorder, which means this unit loses a strength point and must retreat 1 or 2 hexes. And then this is going to have a lot of deleterious effects. All right, let's go down the list. First thing is they have to retreat 1 or 2 hexes, and I think they'll take the 2 retreat option. Also notice that this 5 strength point unit is now down to 2, which is less than half of its original strength, so they will be collapsed. Let's find a collapse marker. And the effect of that is that they have to make a stand or rout die roll at the moment that they collapse, which they pass with a 1. Okay. Now, that unit retreated and was disordered, so the units underneath have to make a check because the unit in their hex was disordered, I believe. Or is it rout? Let me check and see and make sure. Let's see. UDDs. Where's UDD? Right. All right. I have to look at casualties. Disorder. Okay. From fire. From shock. Okay. Treat. Disorder from terrain. Strength point losses. Here it is. If the top unit is eliminated, the next unit takes remaining losses. Collapse disorder. I know that terrain from retreats, voluntary retreats. Hmm. I am almost certain that there is a rule that when a unit in a stack, when the top unit is disordered, the units underneath it must also roll a UDD against disorder. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I know that's the case for route and also adjacent units for route, but I'm trying to look at the effects for stacked units. Okay. Disorder. Disordered. I'm looking this up in the rules right now. Bear with me. Maybe it's in the stacking rules and not the fire rules. Let's look at stacking and shock, or stacking in combat. Stacking in combat. Okay, pre-shock fire. All units in the hex undertake a UDD if the top shocking unit is eliminated or disorders. That's what I was looking for. So now these two remaining units here must also take UDDs, -1 for Broken Bros presence. That one passed, the top one passed, the second one also passed. Wow, a lot of really good luck there for Broken Bro, and believe me, he needs it. Okay, so that was the net effect of the return fire or the defensive fire. So now the shock goes in. And also because Broken Bro shocked last phase, I'm going to, there we go, add a shock to him. Okay, so he has remaining points, 9 strength points against 7, still even odds. Both sides are disordered, so there's no advantage to be gained there. And now we see if that stream between them has an effect. And we look at the terrain effects chart, and a stream has a -1 effect on shock if it is shocked across the hex side. And it definitely is. Yes. So we have a -1 for that. No other positional benefits. Oh, and we also have the -1 because they're crossing in front of this unit. So this is a even odd shock with a -2 modifier. That's not good. And the result is 4, which turns into a 2. And the result of a 2 on the shock table is not going to be good. It's a standoff. Both sides are disordered. Okay, so we'll start with the Union. They take a second disorder, so they have to make a UDD against route, and they roll a 1 and they pass. That means that they will lose 1 strength point and retreat, all other things being equal. But for now, because we don't know the effects on all the units yet, we'll just put the strength point unit there. Then we go to Broken Bro. So the top unit has to make a UDD for its second disorder, -1 because Broken Bro is there, and a 5 is still not good enough for this unit. So let's see. Well, do they route or do they check the second disorder? Oh, they route. So off to, where did he go? Off to the route table. Show you what I did there. Move the, he's in Heath's division. And now this unit has to disorder, flip. Now, because this unit saw the unit in front of it route, it has to make another UDD with Broken Bros -1 rating, which it fails. And the effect of that is route. Ugh. Not good. Okay. Broken Bro then will end up with this unit, and see, there were no casualties sustained, so we don't have to check for Broken Bro. This unit now, um, because the hex is vacated, well, no, they do not have the option to advance because they were not the attacker, but the unit does not have to retreat because it is not being forced to retreat. So it ends up basically wrecking Broken Bro's brigade, which I kind of thought was going to happen anyway, but that kind of put pay to it. And also, that was that brigade's second shock, and that means fatigue. So they're now at okay fatigue, although I certainly would not call that brigade in okay shape. They are shattered. And that is nope. We still have Archer, who's out of command and gets one fewer activation. Remembering that AP Hill has 3 this turn. They've used 1 and they get to use 1 more. Hmm. They are going to sit out this activation. And I'll place a inactivity marker there. Change the note. Mark him there. They can attempt to do rallies. Let's see if this unit can rally itself. 1. What do you know? Luck's not all bad. The collapse unit cannot attempt to rally until nightfall, when you try to recover it from collapse by rounding up stragglers. And that is it for Heath's division. So we move his chit there and pick the next. And it's the Union March chit. Okay, I'm going to check on time here. Been at it for 2 hours. Okay, I think I am going to have to bisect this turn. There's a lot going on, and get to the Union March. I'm going to zoom out a teeny bit and first try to get Ogden to drop himself from march orders. So he's going to attempt to change his own orders. He has no modifier. The 0 in the white box means he has no order change modifier. So he rolls a 1, stand and retain. So not only does he stay in march orders, he doesn't march. So they're stuck there. These units here that are still in march will continue to march. They are on a regular road, and they will march 3 activations worth because they staying on a road, they can march 3 activations worth during march without incurring any fatigue. A fourth would earn them fatigue. Also, if they leave the road for even 1 hex of their movement, then they only get 2 activations worth of movement without fatigue. A third or a fourth, if chosen, would add 1 level of fatigue per activation used. So they're going to just take the better part of valor and stay on the road and use 3 activations worth of movement. On a regular road, the movement rate is 1. So with 6 movement points, 3 activations worth means 18 hexes. So let's see where we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're still in March, so they keep facing a hex side rather than a hex juncture. Now I will just grab all the other units, and if I can, move them up and form them up behind. There they are, and then further down, we have von Steinwehr. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11 there. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's that column. Tidy up the column. Okay, let's look over here and make sure we haven't forgotten any other march columns along this road, and we have not. All right. Looks like Howard is going to be able to catch up to his corps. And we are actually done with the march shit pretty quick for the US. Okay. All right, so we move that to the organizational chart and pull the next. And we get Barlow of the 11th Corps, and they are located right here south of town. They dropped out of March orders, and thus they have up to 4 activations to deal with. And they could definitely use that to get out ahead of these units here. They're not the best units. They probably aren't going to be able to hold any kind of position there, especially since there's really no good defensive uh, terrain here. But they will at least be able to hold until remnants of First Corps can detach here and take over for them, and possibly other reinforcements entering later in the day. So it would probably behoove them to uh, move as far forward as they can and try to start to set up a line here, maybe based on Blocker's Knoll here, flanked with a stream in the woods here, but not a lot, not a lot of places to hide here. Okay, so they will stay using the road movement right through town and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Gilsa. Stay there. They've got to use extended lines marching through the town. And that's it for Barlow. Pretty short and sweet. So move Barlow's activation onto the organization chart, and well, we can get a little further. And it's Barlow again. Okay. Let's see where they get now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's it for Barlow's second activation. Got another consecutive one, but was not able to make any kind of tactical use of that. And the next is Robinson, 2nd Division of 1st Corps for the Union. And this, I believe, will be Robinson's second activation. Let's have a look at the Union activation sheet and make sure. No, this would be Robinson's third if they choose to use it. They don't have any fatigue now. Oh boy, if they do take on fatigue, they would only go to okay fatigue. This is kind of a race for position. Hmm. Yeah, I think they're going to try to use it. And let's see if we also can't. Let's see if we can also pour some salt into the wound here for Pettigrew. Baxter's brigade is going to attempt to change his orders on his own initiative to attack. As you can see with the yellow box with +1, he has a +1 to his roll. His division commander is not stacked with him, so he gets no benefit from that. And we have a +1 to the roll, and we roll a 5, which turns into a 6, and I believe that is just enough to affect a orders change. Let's have a look here, and we get orders change 6 or more is change. So they are successful and they change their orders to attack. Now remember, when a division activates, if you're going to attempt to change orders for anyone or coordinate, you have to do that before you activate any individual division because you have to determine whether or not you get confusion or stands or any of those sort of things before you start moving brigades. So in other words, you have to take the risk and then live with the results afterwards. The other brigade is not going to be at- fighting or attacking, so they will not attempt to change their orders. Okay, so let's see. Hmm. This brigade actually looks to be in good shape, but the question is, should they stop blocking the road and move farther up in here to support this brigade and to keep more compact? Hmm, it's a big question. They can't let this division of Confederates, Pender, they can't let them just waltz down this road because that's right into the Union rear. They could walk into Gettysburg. So they're going to basically stay here. Um, his radius is 4. So let's try and get him as close to where Robinson is going to be as he dares. He could move here and then going through the woods. That would be 4 to put him in command, and then adjacency puts everybody else in command. The only thing is he's out in no man's land, and if Pender can manage to cut through here, he would send him right back to the brigade, but he wouldn't be captured unless they completely surrounded him, and they're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, he's actually going to stay here. Now, this brigade under attack, what can they do here? They could see how much strength they can muster. Got 6, 5, 11, 15 strength points that are handy enough to hit this unit here with teeth. Or this unit only has 12. As soon as they move on to that unit's flank, however, they will be able to do a facing change. And with innate cohesion, they'll probably pass. And then you're tangling with 20 strength points. It would take the entire brigade to take that on. Uh, I think they should cool their jets a little bit and threaten an attack rather than to actually pull one off. So they'll move here, here. This unit 1, 2, 3. this unit. Actually, as they move up, they could take pot shots. Yeah, I think that's what they'll do. We'll start with this unit first. And before I do that, I want to look at the facing rules and whether or not they can change facing to fire at a distant hex in response to fire, or whether they can only do that if a unit moves adjacent to them and fires. Let's look at the reaction fire rules. Okay. Enemy movement or advance into a hex adjacent may trigger it. Enemy fire from a hex outside the non-phasing combat unit's front may trigger a refusal or facing change unless the non-phasing unit must retreat as a result of the fire. A unit may return fire after a refusal or facing change unless it suffers a second disorder due to failing its UDD. For firing after reaction refusal, follow the restrictions of 7.34. So yeah, it can. Hmm. Okay. So let's say that this unit is too weak and is not going to prod the bear. This unit, however, will. So 6 strength points firing here into this unit's flank. Okay, so 6 strength points of rifles plus 1 for range. No prepared fire because they moved. So that's it. And then flank adds another one. So 6 column plus 2 on the die roll. Oh, another 9. That turns into an 11. That's going to hurt. And we get 2D. Ouch. That hurts. Okay. Minus 2 for that. And then we have to check to see if Heath gets shot, and he does not. This unit also is disordered automatically. Now it's got to make the facing change. Hmm. Yeah, they pretty much have to with Heath there. So the unit will change its facing, make a UDD, 2 taken off the roll. They pass easily, and now they return fire. And I don't believe that is simultaneous from range. Let me check the rules and make sure I'm doing that correctly. Return fire. Reaction, fire combat, non-phasing fire. Okay. If reaction refusal facing occurs prior to return fire, the attacker's fire is resolved before the defender fires. So he is disordered and has fewer units to fire with. So 6 strength points of rifles, +1 for range, -1 because they're disordered. So no modifier. So a 6 table rolls a 3. And that is a lowercase d disorder check. He rolls a 2 and passes easily. And let's see. The unit under him could only fire with 1 strength point. That's a waste of ammo. This unit is not going to prod that particular bear. So that division is finished. And let's see how are we doing for time. 2:36. This looks like a good spot to end things, and we will go to Robinson, place that there. This unit undergoes fatigue. This unit does not because only the brigadier moved. And that's it. So let's stop that there. Okay, and let us also end the log file. Oh, wow. I didn't start one? I thought for sure that I started one. Well, can't do that, but we can save the game. And we will. Where is that? Here it is. Uh, no, this is a vsave. Call this mid 1 p.m. Save. So now we have a stopping point and a little mini recap. Basically, we have Heath beating his head against a stone wall. It's kind of a little pun for Confederate fans against Union First Corps here, not making much headway, but none of the reinforcements have started to arrive yet. And we also have Barlow's division of 11th Corps starting to poke its head out north of town at Gettysburg. And over on the Confederate right and Union left, we have Pender scrambling to get in position here to stretch out First Corps a bit along the woods here. As a historical note, it is this woods area here, the Herbst Woods, where Reynolds was actually shot and killed. So looks like the battle, though, is forming up to be in these woods here, about a third of a mile to a half mile um, west of Herbst Woods. Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're going to, I've already moved the activation marker out here so we can start our next episode simply by picking a chit to see who goes next. All right, so that's going to do it. Thanks to the 3 of you who have stuck around, and I see I have at least one note here, and is ACW your favorite time period to game? If yes, which came first, the games or the period? Okay. I would say that this system, Great Battles of the American Civil War, is my favorite system, and it does tend to monopolize my time because I have built the vassal modules for most of the games in the system. I've gotten involved in the playtest teams for Death Valley and also for Into the Woods, which is still in playtesting. So as a result of building the modules for those uh, games, I'm always busy doing something, whether it's building modules or playtesting games or actually working on my own project for the system. So it tends to monopolize my time. Um, as for it being my favorite period, actually, I'm not really sure. If I'm not gaming in this system, there are a multitude of systems that are not Civil War that I will happily play. So I suppose I could say that maybe not, it's not my favorite era, but then I also have to factor in the fact that because I'm in the US and all the battlefields for this are in my country, that kind of forms the basis for most of my battlefield touring. So again, that kind of adds to my interest in the period. So I guess it's hard to say whether this is or isn't my favorite period. But I do like some moderns. I like the Central Front series that hypothesizes a Soviet assault on Germany in the mid 80s. Um, I like World War II, of course. I played a lot of flat top. I've played a bunch of the Air Force Dauntless system, and if I ever get any time, would like to get into the Fighting Wings system. So all of those are not in the Civil War, and would love to play them more, but again, this system tends to monopolize my time. So kind of a long answer, but there it is. So we're going to call time to this episode, and thanks for showing up. And we will see you next time on Stiglr for the Details, where I suppose I will run the 10F version of this and kind of keep going as long as it's interesting and informative. So I'll see you guys next time.